Tales from the wild. Stories from the heart. A journey into the mind and soul of fired-up business professionals where they share their vision for the future. And hear from a different non-profit organization every month as they create awareness of their goals and their needs. Dive into a world of untamed passion as we join our host, Shireen Buerta, for this month's episode of Friends from Wild Places.
With your line of work, Elizabeth, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that you see that can be quite stressful, I believe, or you're probably just so used to it as that's something that you deal with it every day. But I'm sure there's a time dealing with people that you run out of steam, I would say. And so my question would be, what are the things that you do to refill your tank so that you can keep giving? Because I think you're around death a lot and grief a lot. So to be around that 24/7 all the time, I believe it can take a toll on you. So what are the ways that you can just fill your tank again and keep giving?
Karina, I love how you say fill your tank because how I say it is fill my love tank. So yes, I gotta fill that love tank. I gotta top it off, get it full. You give, and then you can give back. So I have sheep, and that's a really big deal. Sheep are soft and cuddly and wonderful. And I used to have goats, but now I have sheep. And the difference I can tell you is I like to read them a book. Now, if you go in the field and sit down and take out a book, the sheep will actually kind of sit on your lap or nuzzle against you and rub and smell you with their little lips and all that. Where the goat, all it wants to do is eat the book. It doesn't care less. It just wants to eat the book. So sheep are more gentle. They're more loving. We have all females. They basically are all named after Disney princesses because, again, we had a daughter who that was her thing. That's fine. So it's funny to have a field full of Rapunzel and Jasmine and, all of that. But they're soft, lovely, cuddly. I don't know if they know their names. I yell their names out all the time. We let them out of the pasture. They walk all over the driveway and the property. There was a while there we let them in the house. But the problem with sheep is when they go to the bathroom, they just decide, I'm going to go pee pee. And there's a gallon of that. Or all of a sudden, all these hot fecal balls are all over your carpet. And, it just, and I'm not going to put diapers on the sheep. These are farm animals, but they love to be brushed. I think their favorite music is mariachi. I sing to them. The neighbors all think we're weird anyway. I live in a neighborhood full of retired people. When we moved in 15 years ago, they thought, oh my gosh, there's people from a funeral home who live there. And little do they know, that was the least weird thing about us. It's the singing full voice mariachi while brushing the sheep. But, they can get over the hearse occasionally parked in the driveway. So that's the main thing is the animals. They are resplendent. My husband and I our daughter just left for college 2 weeks ago, and hearing about her life fills my love tank. It's just to know that we've launched this little baby bird off into the world doing great things. That is great. And I have made something out my window here at the funeral home because I spent so much time in my office. I have a little bird sanctuary, and I implore people to, if you're interested in birds, birds will come see you. Put something out there with water. Doesn't have to be any big deal. I've got a bird bath. I put water in. Water draws the birds. I've got a couple feeders hanging. I've got something on the ground. The birds come. And probably every day I see at least 12 to 15 different species. And occasionally a bird will come through I've never seen before. And that is thrilling because birds bring their bird friends. And it's, bird food is not very expensive and it's exciting. And plentiful and fills my love tank.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Elizabeth, I got to ask, so how many sheep are there currently?
Right now there are 6 and they're healthy and good and like each other. Normally there's one animal, normally a goat, who thinks everything is theirs and they have to hit everybody, or when the food comes, they've got to be the first, or it's raining. They have to stand in the door of the barn and kick everybody out. Jerks. So these 6 ladies of the field like each other and they get along. And it's just, I want a peaceful kingdom. So glad to see it.
Gotcha. And what other animals do you have currently? You have dogs, I believe, correct?
Yes, dogs and cats. And yeah, we have a Bluetooth coon hound. His name is DB Cooper. You true crime ladies might know that. He hijacked a plane in the 70s and he jumped out the back after he got a parachute and all this money. And that was a big thing. And he was never found again. But occasionally, some of these bills, they can see the serial numbers show up occasionally in different places in Washington. People will be digging someplace and some of these numbers, maybe he buried stuff, who knows? But that was a big Pacific Northwest case. But his name is DB Cooper and he doesn't bark, he howls. So you let him out and you hear this crazy howling because that's just what he does. Never had a howling dog before, but there he is. So
There he is. There he is. And also, can you share with us and our listeners about your, I don't know what the actual name of it. It's the phone booth where people can call their past deceased relatives. Is that correct? Is that the
yes, I have a wind phone. And there's a wonderful
Oh,
website called My Wind Phone where you can look all across. It might just be the states. I don't know if they have that out of the states yet, but people have put a old rotary phone, either they've affixed it to a tree or they've made a booth. What I have here outside the funeral home is I have this beautiful healing tree that I've got a bunch of chimes in, and inside this chimes, there's a pedestal, and I have this wonderful silver rotary phone, and I have a chair and some little gnomes and fairy houses. And there's a sign saying, basically, it's a wind phone, and let your words go through the trees and be carried up to your loved one. And it's for those who have had somebody pass away and you want to make a phone call to them and feel like, even though there's nobody on the receiving end of the phone, it's this feeling that you're connecting. And this started in Japan. There was a very big tsunami a couple years back. And in a man's garden, he built a really lovely white phone booth for his cousin that he missed greatly. And inside he put a rotary phone, and there was a pen and some paper and some flowers. And he would go every day and call his cousin. And then people found out about it and said, well, can I call my grandma? Can I do what have you? So then he put it online and said, please come into my garden and call. And I will have people who stop by and say, I can't get over the grief of my father. And I found a phone on a beach one day, and something about this method is helping me move through my grief and my sadness. It's a bereavement tool. And, I thought I was doing great things when I had a bereavement library here where I was saying, come borrow a book, come sit in the chapel, come sit in my garden and read a book, what have you, take it, whatever you want to do. But the phone has brought such interesting people, from kooky characters to people who are sad, whomever, who just want to come and have a moment. And I built it because I wanted to talk to my dad. And, I would call him after my blind dates, of course. So he was my biggest fan. So occasionally I will have some wild thing happen. I'll just sit and have this great, delightful conversation. And am I talking to his spirit, to the tree bark? Am I talking to the leaves, to the wind? I don't know. It's fantastic. It feels good. And when I get so tickled when people come and they say, I don't need you, honey. I'm here for your wind phone. I just think it's
oh,
great. So people in the community use it. People come from a distance. There's a map, and I think there's 5 right now in the state of Oregon. So I'm on the route, and it's just neat when people come.
wow. You're an absolute treasure, Elizabeth. Truly. Like, I mean, it's just so interesting just hearing your journey. And one of these days I want to come. I want to come. I want to have a sheep sit on, is it a sheep? Is that singular? A sheep? A sheep sit on my lap and bring it in a book. So I want to do that.
Yes. And I'll bring you to the Bigfoot Museum. Boring, Oregon is known for the North American Bigfoot Center. So we have
Oh,
a lot of big feet. We have a lot of Bigfoot sightings around here. So yeah,
that's Sasquatch. Is that a
give it the museum.
Sasquatch? Is that
Yeah.
the same thing, or is that two
Yeah.
different things? Sasquatch. Okay.
Yeah, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. And they say, it's not a mythical character. It's not just one. There's like families of these things. Apparently there's 12,000. It's like a human animal biped thing walking. And, it's very realistic because it's in the trees and you don't see them because it has no need for people. But they're like an animal weird animal family group out there. And, you know, I think they're interested in humans, but I think they probably would find us quite ridiculous. So who knows?
Possibly.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
I love that. Thanks for sharing, Elizabeth. Yeah, we come to that part of the podcast where we just chat about our nonprofit for the month that we're supporting. So listeners, this month we're supporting noonediesalone.com. So we're excited to tell you a little bit more about that. Noonediesalone.com. We'll have all of the information in the show notes. But Elizabeth, would you mind sharing with the listeners a little more about the organization and what it does for the community, and most importantly, how we can help them?
There's many people who die by themselves. They're either at their house, they're in a nursing home and they don't get visited. And a lot of people have said their dying wish is to be surrounded by friends and family or be at home. And that doesn't always get to happen. People don't always have friends and family, or people aren't visiting. So when somebody is near death, they have a lot of times requested through hospice or the nursing home, can I just have somebody sit with me? Can I have somebody read with me? When I'm nearing the end, I would love it if somebody would just come hold my hand. And so this website just allows you to be a volunteer and learn how to just sit and be still. And if somebody does want a cup of water, or just, I think people just want to know that they're seen and someone's looking at them and they're not in this room by themselves. They can take that step into the unknown, feeling safe, feeling okay, knowing that someone has got their back. I think that would be quite a lonely experience to just be at home knowing that your number is up and it's coming and what's going to happen. And I've got some things I want to say. I want to vocalize something, or, it'd be really comforting if somebody could put on some music for me, or I just want somebody in the room with me. And all those, I mean, who knows, right? We're all such different and unique people. And even if it's just, I want somebody in the next room, just that idea of dying alone, I think is scary for a lot of people. And how wonderful that they've made an organization that says, but you don't have to. There's a lot of wonderful people who would be at the ready to be with you. We just need to know that this is what you want.
I love that.
Elizabeth, can they volunteer also, or is it monetary donations, or what are ways that people can get involved? Because even as integrated I am in the funeral profession, I am not familiar with this not-for-profit.
Yeah, you can volunteer. And, of course, there's a little bit of a vetting because you might be in someone's house. We need to make sure you're there for good purposes and all. But check out the website and see if it's in your area, and just see if this is something where you would feel, and, kind of what the climate is too. You might call your local area who says, oh, wonderful, we've got a big group of names, and we can just kind of call down the list. Probably in smaller communities, they might have one grief sitter, they might have one person, and you need to be maybe a little bit more readily available. So I guess it would all be individual, but if that's of any interest, to be able to provide some comfort and give of yourself. I mean, what a wonderful volunteer job. You're not having to necessarily prune the roses in a park or tender a trail in the rain. If you feel like you would like to be in the comfort of a nursing home and just maybe browsing through a Bible for somebody, or just being able to sit and listen while somebody talks about their childhood memories, what a beautiful service you could offer of yourself.
Wow. Wow. And does that organization also support people who don't have anybody there for their own, let's say, burial? Like, does that organization, can the people come out and be there for the person's, graveside service, for example? Can they come?
That's a great question. So I think, it really focuses on end of life for that moment and being there to help that person transition. But I'm going to imagine if you are caretaking, sitting, being, loving, being a part, you're going to develop some sort of bond or feeling for that individual. And if you know that there might be some sort of a service, or there might be something happening, I have a feeling most people who give of their heart this way would want to have some potential chance to be involved in something.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, we're going to learn more about it.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Every month we do have these nonprofits that we support, and it's really important that you find a organization to lend a hand and support financially or your time. But this one specifically tugs on the threads of my heart because, I mean, quite recently, my uncle just passed away from being stabbed with a rusty object, and so he was in the hospital and he died alone and with us, and he has us, but because of the circumstances, he ended up being in this hospital far away from us, far away from his family in the Cape, and he was there dying alone, and he died alone. And for me, I that keeps me up every night because
Mm.
I can't believe that happened, and I wasn't next to him just to let him have somebody just to say, it's okay, uncle, you can go. Or just having somebody breaks my heart. It really does that he went through that alone. And with that being said, even if you don't have an organization like this, listeners, in your area, you can find retirement villages or care units where a lot of elderly folk, as you've mentioned before, are in their final days, or cancer patients that don't have very long to live and they might not have family members. You can find that person. There is always that person. There are a lot of people that don't have loved ones that are dying by themselves. So, um, yeah, that this is quite an important one for me, so that tugs on my heart. So we'll leave all the information in the show notes below, listeners, and find out where the closest one is to you and support however you can. Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for this time that you've shared with us today. We are going to go into something a little bit more light-hearted and play a little bit of a game called Two Truths and a Lie. I don't know if any one of you have played it before. But basically, you just mentioned three statements. Two of them will be true about yourself, and then one won't be true. And we have to guess what that is, the lie. So, Tanya, would you mind just
Yeah, Shireen, I just
putting it
first
all?
I want to extend my condolences. I did not know about your uncle's passing. And first of all, I just want you to know that, my heart and thoughts are with you. So
I appreciate you. Thank you.
all right.
And
So
be gentle on yourself, Shireen. Be gentle. That's a really important thing for just because you did the best you could. The situation wasn't ideal, and he's fine, and I'm sure has a lot of forgiveness and love, and it's it's good, even though it feels weird. Yeah, allow yourself to move through that.
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, so our wrap up game, Shireen, it's two truths and a lie. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. So, ladies, we have to guess what is the lie out of these three statements. Okay. So, I love to travel. I have a cat. My favorite food is caviar.
I'm going to say you don't have a cat.
I think I know this one.
No, wait, you do.
So Shireen says, okay, let's think about it again.
I'm going to say you don't have a cat because we've ne no, you don't have a cat because you always are dog sitting for your friends. So you don't have a cat. That's the lie.
How about you, Elizabeth? Which one do you think?
Well, okay. I'm gonna wow. Are you a decadent caviar lady? Maybe you are.
Hardcore.
My goodness, that
Hardcore.
is
My favorite food. It is like I could eat it. First of all, it's not that I get it often. Okay, so let the listeners just say it's not that I get it often. But if somebody wants to get me a gift, like an ultimate gift, it would be black caviar, and I don't need anything except a spoon or a little butter knife, and I just eat it just like that in one sitting. I cannot even put in the fridge, so it's it's hardcore caviar. So Shireen, you are correct. I do not have a cat.
So, oh my gosh, Elizabeth, let's go to you. That was a good one, Tanya. Go for it, Elizabeth.
That's good. That's good. Okay. All right. I have summited 3 mountains. I have 3 tattoos. And I currently, oh gosh, there's just so many fun ones to think about. And I currently stuck my fork in a can of garbanzo beans, and that was my breakfast.
See, this is a little bit difficult because we don't really know you that well. So I'm gonna say, well, I'm speaking for myself here. I'm going to say that that you don't have 3 tattoos. You only have 2. I don't know.
I'm with Shireen. I don't know how many or lack thereof, but I'm gonna say I don't think you have tattoos. So I don't think that's my guess.
Okay. So I do love garbanzo beans out of the can, and I have summited 3 mountains. No tattoos. Good job.
No tattoos. Okay. Yay, we win. We win. Good for us. Good for us. Okay. How about you, Shireen? We got to hear from you.
All right, so now I'm going to try and get things that Tanya haven't spoken to Tanya about. So maybe I can catch Tanya out because she knows me quite well now. 2 truths, 1 lie. I have never seen snow before. I have only owned 1 fur baby in my life, and I have put out a fire in the overhead storage in flights. I think you've heard that before, Tanya, but I don't know if you know if it's a true or lie. So, which one is the lie?
I'm going to say snow just because of where you live. But I guess you can travel. So, no.
That's a tough one, Shireen. Let me see. So I'm gonna go with I know about the fur baby. I know the one, so I'm gonna say that one.
Is the lie?
Maybe you've had 2. I don't know.
Well, the lie is the fact that I have never seen snow.
Really?
I've
Okay.
definitely seen snow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that
So
was
what's the lie? The lie that you have seen snow.
I have seen snow. So I said
Okay.
I've never
Okay.
seen snow.
Okay.
That's not true. I have seen snow. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so that brings us
Fur baby 1, right? The fur baby was you had one fur baby, correct?
right,
1.
right.
Okay.
That's my one.
And I know about the
And this
fire. You put
airplane thing happened.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
And you put out a fire in an overhead compartment on a plane.
Yes, because I used to work
With what?
with a fire extinguisher because I used to work on board planes. So we had a fire extinguisher in the galley, and the passengers alerted us to the smoke coming out of the overhead storage. I jumped into action, got the fire extinguisher, and fought the fire. And there you have it.
Was it a lit candle? What was it?
It was batteries that weren't stored correctly. So they were just thrown in a Ziploc bag. It was 2 batteries that were supposed to go into one of those vapes, and he had just thrown it into a bag, wouldn't store it correctly, and so they created heat and friction, which caused a fire, which ignited the bag and ignited the bag next to it, and so yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Embarrassing.
That's yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
I
Wow. What a
really,
podcast. This is like delightful. Like I really feel like I could spend the rest of the day with you ladies and but it's been amazing.
yeah, thank you so much, listeners, for listening. We have come to the end, so This is the time where we just share, where you can actually connect with us. If you feel connected and you want to ask questions, you can reach us where? Tanya, go, you start. Where can the listeners reach you?
Sure. So most of my students know of Elizabeth Fournier, the Green Reaper. So super excited for this podcast. So I'll definitely be sharing with my students. So most of you know I can be found on LinkedIn because I don't have a TV or any other outlet to do social media. So LinkedIn is my hub. I oversee the mortuary program at Miami-Dade College. So perhaps some of you listeners out there may decide it is time to change careers and become a funeral director. I also oversee senior placement, matching people with communities who can no longer live alone, specializing in memory care and the dementia patients. So that is an expertise that I did because of my father, and I truly call it my blessed work. I also serve frequently as an expert witness in funeral home and cemetery litigation cases. That has actually taken off. I could probably do that full time if I wanted to. So those are the 3 areas that you can find me, LinkedIn, and I'm sure Shireen will put the information in the show notes.
Already.
Okay. And Elizabeth, as we share your contact information, feel free to also elaborate on anything that we did not ask you, where you feel that it's important to have the listeners know as you share your contact information.
Sure. So my website, cornerstonefuneral.com, the reason why I give that is, of course, not everybody in my area, but I am someone who does this work, and consider yourself having a mortician friend that you can actually email, call, get a hold of. You can even text the funeral home number. People have questions all the time, such as what happens with Social Security, and my person's a veteran, what do I get? And I can answer just vague, broad, general, green questions, funeral questions. Happy to help. So I'm in the town of Boring, Oregon. Never gets boring. I'm on Instagram too, and I do a lot of photos of what natural organic reduction looks like. And this is a beautiful shroud, and I'm at Elizabeth Green Reaper. I'm on a couple other social medias, but not overly active on them. And the information that I just want to get out there is sort of what I was sharing with Shireen, is we need to be really gentle on ourselves. Death is really hard. It's the hardest thing that we go through, no matter what the scenario is. And really being forgiving and gentle and loving towards ourselves, because it's never going to be the perfect scenario. There's so much would have, could have, should have, but ultimately, especially in reference to the person who's passed away, they're doing great. They're doing better than us here who are left behind. They're fine. They're at peace. And we need to, again, just love ourselves.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much.
you, Elizabeth. Okay. Shireen, how about you? Where can we find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on all the social medias. I'm there, but Shireen's bookkeeping is mostly on LinkedIn and Instagram. More importantly, the friendsfromwildplaces.buzzsprout.com. That is the website, friendsfromwildplaces.buzzsprout.com. But you can find the podcast on all of the platforms, from Apple, iTunes, to Deezer, to Spotify. You just have to search for Friends from Wild Places. You'll find us. And please, once again, it's just a friendly reminder that if you want to support us a little bit more, please go subscribe for a small amount of $5 a month. We'd really appreciate it. But other than that, thank you so much for listening. Once again, we really appreciate you. And remember, you got this, and stay wild. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Friends from Wild Places with Shireen Buerta. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast from the links to catch every episode and unleash your passion.